Hey, everybody. Welcome to Muscular Development's preview of the 2021 Toronto Pro SuperShow happening this Sunday in Toronto, Ontario, in the great nation of Canada. Joining me, of course, all the way from across the pond, the Atlantic Ocean, if you didn't know, all the way from the United Kingdom, please welcome Giles Tiger Thomas. What's up, Giles?
How you doing, Ron? I'm just fresh off my trip back. But yesterday morning, I was in Alicante Airport, dying because I was so tired. But what an amazing few weeks it's been. We started off in Romania. We brought Ashley Kaltwasser back for a UK tour, for Olympia All-Star Tour. The ladies went into Spain. They were doing photo shoots and seminars, and then I joined them last Friday. Lauren won her show.
Lauren turned pro.
No, she didn't turn pro. She won a category, but she didn't win the overall. But she won her first international competition, so that was huge. And obviously, there was Ashley cheering her on at the front. She was also wearing Ashley's bikini. And then obviously we had the big man weekend. Was it yesterday? Day before?
Yeah,
Tuesday, before. Sunday, 2 years ago.
We're recording this on a Tuesday.
Yeah. So it was absolutely incredible. We absolutely. It was funny. I said when I was at the airport yesterday morning, I said, Lauren, I need a week of rest. I don't want to do any work. I'm on a 9 hours sleep last night. Woke up this morning and said, right, what's next? Let's do global. Let's do buff. Let's get loads of filming. Let's film with Ronnie. Let's think of some new ideas, new tours. And we're back on it straight away. So this is the life we've chosen, and I am not complaining.
Right on. Yeah, if she had won her category in any of the pro qualifiers in the US, she'd be a pro. In fact, we have pro qualifiers here. We're the top 2 in every class, as you may or may not know. So it's tougher over there. It's still a little tougher to turn pro for sure. This was in Spain.
Yeah. But, also we've had power outages over here. So I had no power today. I said to you, I might not be able to do this preview. So if it all of a sudden goes completely black, that means we've had another power outage because there've been big storms. I mean, yesterday I got home and there was snow right up against the door.
Really?
Yeah, but snow, and there's been power outages for days. Wow. And then this morning woke up and all the snow was gone. It's 9 degrees again. So it's crazy British weather.
Wow, we had some snow, but it didn't even stick. So you're ahead of us in the winter. Good job. Okay, so we have had a very long contest season. Man, it seems like it's been going on for years and years. This is still 2021, I believe, but this is the final show for Men's Open for 2021. There is another pro show that is 212, the Vancouver Pro, but this is it. This wraps it up. So, guys, no more contests after this for a couple months anyway, until we get to the Arnold 2022.
You were at the end. The first one was Indy Pro, wasn't it? Back in March, April.
I want to say April. April, and then it just kept going and going and going. But these past few weeks, it's been every week. There's been a show. Since the Olympia, there's been a show every single weekend.
What about all the shows over this side of the world? I mean, we've had Prague, we've had Yamamoto, the Arnold UK, we've had Egypt, Spain, Romania. I mean, I kind of wished I got to more of them really, because they've been such good shows. I mean, so well attended, so well supported. Yeah. But it's great for this side of the world because for a few years, there was a bit of a drought. It was all in America, and all the athletes had to then travel to America. But it's great to see. It's like the good old days in the 90s where we had the post Olympia Grand Prix. We'd have like 6. Spain, France, Germany, all these different countries with Grand Prix, UK. And it's good to see like new shows like Egypt, the Yamamoto Pro, kind of carrying on, turning from the San Marino. So it's really, really good. And I'm so happy that there's so many shows over this side of the world as well. So, and it's only 15 weeks to the Arnold Classic, and you've just had an Arnold Classic?
I know, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And I heard the Olympia is going to be December again. Have you heard that?
Yeah. Dan told me.
Vegas? Is it Vegas this time?
Vegas. I spoke to Dan when I had him on Globe Muscle a few weeks ago, and I spoke to Jake Wood at the Romania show. He came and sat with me, and we were talking for a couple of hours. And he said the plan at the moment going forward is to alternate it because he said one's West Coast, one's East Coast. He says, and sometimes we get vendors that from the West Coast that can't make it to the East Coast for whatever reason. He says, and vice versa. So he says the plan is right now to alternate. So I think that's fantastic. So, and it's Vegas was a great venue. You've been to the Olympia now on the East Coast in Florida twice now. So what's your thought? Do you think it's good to have them back and forth now?
I think it's a great idea, honestly, because there's a lot of people who prefer Orlando, believe it or not, and there's a lot of people who prefer Las Vegas. So this way everybody can be happy at least every other year. So.
and it's one less flight for me when I come over to help you at the Arnold and the Olympia, because sometimes I'll do an internal flight in the UK. So I might go say Leeds or Manchester to London, London to somewhere like Newark, and then I have to go Newark to Vegas. I've actually done 4 flights before. If you remember in 2017, it took me 25 hours to get there with 4 flights. But I still had loads of energy because it was Olympia. But yeah, so it's exciting.
Oof. All right, well, let's get to Toronto Pro. So this is it. This is the last chance for anyone to qualify for the 2022 Olympia until 2022. Then they can start up again. But yeah, we've had a ton of people qualifying for next year's Olympia in these past few weeks, and we're going to get some more out of this show. My favorite to win, and I don't know if he's your favorite, we'll talk about it. Quint Beastwood, Quinton Area. I saw him in Toronto. The last time they had it was 2019. He made his debut there, 5th place. And it was pretty crazy because up until a couple days out from the show, his coach, trainer, Dorian Hamilton, they were on the fence about trying to suck him down to classic. He would have had to lose like 12 pounds or something ridiculous. But he went in open, looked great. You just need to fill out. He was a young kid. He had been natural up until very, very recently before that. And just a couple weeks ago, you saw him in Romania, 5th place in a very, very solid lineup. He's making very, very gradual gains. I just had him on for a run line. I think it's going to post before this does, actually. But I think he's doing it the right way because he has those crazy proportions with the tiny joints, the tiny waist. He's adding mass very, very gradually and keeping that look with the tiny joints and the flaring V-taper that he has. But shape-wise, some of his poses, his front lat spread and his frontal bicep, the taper is just mind-blowing. I think he's a young guy and he's only 26, I think, but that's my favorite to win. What do you think of Quint Beastwood's chances?
It's crazy, isn't it? Because sometimes when you get a new face that comes through with these amazing structures and like just incredible. Because for me, he reminds me like a taller version of like Lee Haney with slightly less chest and back. But it's you kind of get really like, wow, I want this guy to be top 6 Olympia by the time he's 26. But at the same time, it's probably, like you said, it's better for him to do it gradually because he is making improvements. In fact, I noticed the biggest improvements in Romania in his legs. Like his legs are good. They're good to go. I mean, they're full, they're separated, they're so dry and detailed. But the upper body for me, I feel like he needs a bit more fullness and thickness to his chest and back. But then when you look at his structure, his shoulder width to his waist, I mean, can you imagine how devastating it would be if he lost that waistline just for the sake of putting on extra 10 pounds and doing things, maybe some protocols like insulin or whatever, I don't know, that would potentially thicken the waist. It'd be such a shame, But for me, Quinton, I'd say Quinton's probably one of the favorites coming into this one. And if he does, imagine he's going to have 13 months. Well, 12 by the time this comes out. 12 to 13 months to prepare for the Olympia for next year. So I'm rooting for him to get the win here. Because he's another one of these 20-somethings that is coming up. Rafael Brandeo, Regan Grimes, Nick Walker, Vlad Suhorochko, Martin Fitzwater, all in their 20s that are absolutely, could literally be filling up the top 6 at Olympia, next year or the year after, like really, really sort of impressive young newcomers, the young guys that are really, really sort of, placing well or even winning, big pro shows. So for me, I needed to see a bit more fullness. He was dry, very dry and detailed in Romania. But for me, he looked a little bit flat in the upper body. I think he just really, I think the travel and really trying to bring the condition, he definitely brought condition in Romania, but he just needed to maybe a couple of weeks back home, and he's a bit more relaxed. He hasn't got as much travel, traveling from America to Romania, I expect him to be better than he was in Romania. So I'm really excited to see how he will look because, like I said, in the upper body, he was a little bit flat, but he was dry, But I'd like to see that real popping fullness, because if he brings that, then he's absolutely one of the favorites going in.
Yeah, he actually talked about that. That he wasn't. Him and Dorian, they weren't happy with the fullness. He recognized that he was flat, and the traveling did have a lot to do with it. So they are working on a solution. They'll be right at home. It's probably like a half-hour drive from where he lives. He lives in that muscle mansion that HD Muscle has. Remember, like Antoine lived there, and I think Regan lived there at one time. I don't know. There's a ton of. That'd be a cool place to live. But no, I was gonna say the next guy I want to talk about is someone you've had on Global, Joe Seaman, who recently he was 6th in the Arnold UK just a couple months ago.
Was it 6 or 7? I think it's 7th because I think Tim Buddersheim was 6th, or is it the other way around?
I think it's 6 because I was looking at the scores.
Okay.
And so I saw him the last time they did this show in Toronto. He had just turned. It was one of those situations where they have a pro qualifier the day before, and if you win that, you can go into the pro show the next day. And he did that, and he got 4th place, which was a stunning pro debut. He's one of those guys that he's so complete that nothing really jumps out at you, but he's just got a great overall package: size, shape, definition, everything you look for. He's a low-key guy. He doesn't hype himself up. Like I guarantee you, a bunch of the people listening to us will be like, Joe Seaman, who's that? But he's got to be making a name for himself. He's been doing better and better. Joe Seaman, your thoughts?
He had such a strong start in 2019, and then 2020, I think he got like was it 8th or 9th at Chicago or something, or top or 10th or something. It wasn't a very good placing, but he had improved. So, and then he came back this year, and I know he's had 6th, and he's had what the other placing he had? Did he do what other show did he do? He's done another show since the Arnold UK.
Yeah, I couldn't find him.
But it wasn't like top 3. And you know, when the guy, and you see him in the Instagram and all that, and you think, my God, this guy he's a lot heavier. He looks thicker. His physique has got better. And they kind of like, it's almost like their placing slip. So I really, really would love to see him get, like a top 3 or even a win here, because he's a guy that is actually constantly improving. He's not overhyping himself. He just turns up, he does his job. He's doing a Dorian, he's kind of coming back bigger and better and just getting kind of just going off and doing his thing. And I like Joe. I think he's a really good guy. And he's got some of the craziest back shots. I mean, his readable bicep. It's funny. I said to him on Global, I said, as I said, there's not many people that can do a readable bicep and you can see that upper chest. It's like the line of his upper chest is so thick, you can actually see his front chest. Like I said, when like Chris Cormier, when he do a front lat spread, you could see his hamstrings.
Wow.
Somebody to do that. The front lat spread, he's put his legs apart and you could see his hamstrings are so thick, hanging backwards. But I said to Joe Seaman, I said, you're a guy that can actually, Marcus Rule's the only one I can think of that had that, where they've got so much muscle in their upper chest, you can actually see it like joining their shoulders in their readable bicep.
I have to look. I'm going to have to go look at some pictures now. This is intriguing.
But he's, like I said, I like him. I really like him. He's a hard trainer, strong mother effer. So, so I'm fully expecting a top 3, and I think it's going to be a really close battle between who we feel is the top 3, with these two being Joe and Quinton. So we'll talk about the third guy next.
Okay, so the third guy, Joel Thomas, another Joel. So Joel has only done 3 pro shows, and they've all been the Tampa Pro. He must love the Tampa Pro. 2015, he took 7th place. 2018, 10th place. I'm sorry, 4 times. 2019, he took 8th place. In 2021, just a couple months ago, he took 7th place. So he's been top 10 at the Tampa Pro 4 times. He took some time off because he tore a pec completely off. You had him on Global. It was a horrifying story. But I've seen him since then. There's no dent. There's nothing. Everything's perfectly symmetrical. You can't tell he tore his pec. And he's got that thickness, that roundness, just a very powerful build to him. So any of these 3 guys we're talking about could potentially win this.
I think there's an award for freakiest calves in the sport as well. Because if you look at Joel Thomas's calves, they're like Dorian Yates, Flex Lewis type calves, where they're just ridiculous. I mean, it's but it took me a while to track him down actually to get him on Global. I don't know why. I think he didn't see the DMs, and he came on. He was a fantastic guest. But I've really been rating this guy for about 2 years. And like I said, when I heard he ripped his pec, I was like, no, because to me, he's got kind of like Branch Warren type, but more aesthetic.
Yeah.
Like kind of thickness. And he came back in the Tampa this year, got 7th. And he was kind of like a little bit more streamlined, but he actually looked more aesthetic. But he's been posting pictures, I think yesterday or the day before, of comparing the preps, and he looks a lot thicker and fuller. He said, I think he rushed the last prep or something, and I think he maybe crashed down a bit. That's why he lost a little bit of the fullness. But I think he's going to be the best he's ever been for this one. So I really like this guy's physique. I think he's underrated. And I'm really seeing it coming down to him, Quinton, and Joe Seaman. And honestly, either of those 3 could win this. And it's funny because I'm kind of rooting for all 3, and it's good when there's no, like, say, huge name coming in and going, oh, well, obviously he's going to win it. It's a battle for second, because there is a qualification spot here up for grabs. So I'd be happy for either 3 of these guys winning and getting the qualification for next year at the Olympia.
Yeah. I just want to say to the people out there, that's how we are. We root for everybody. we don't really, there's not too many people in the sport that we dislike. So we're
secretly, secretly, I'm like, that bastard.
So the only other guy I'm going to mention open, just because he has a pretty unique situation, Stan de Longo. They call him Stanimal. He was the late Sean Roden's best friend and training partner. He's the only pro that I know of who was men's physique pro, classic pro, and now open pro. He's been all three. So he's been growing and growing. He was 7th place at the Legion Fest show about that was shortly after Olympia, 2 weeks after Olympia. So Stanimal, good luck. I could see a top. There's only 9 open men, so top 5 is very well within his reach for sure. Let's go on to 212, and here's a case where it's blatantly obvious to me on paper who's the winner of this. The giant killer, the original giant killer. There's a lot of giant killers I know. David Henry, 10 pro wins that I could find records of. He was a 2018 Olympia champ. The last time I saw him was at the Legion show in 2019, where he just dominated the show. He's probably mid 40s by this point, but everything's holding up. There's no loose skin, no muscle tears. He still has that real dense, fibrous muscle, one of the thickest chests and backs in the sport. He's been one of the best for a very, very long time. I'm glad to see he's still at it. I wasn't sure if he was or not because I hadn't heard much about him in a while. But Dave Henry, there's my pick for 212.
Well, it's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it, really? But I mean, he was the first ever 202 champion in 2008. Yeah. And like you said there, he's never actually, even like he did the Legion Sport a few weeks ago, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, did. He did.
Yeah. And to be honest, he's looking as good there as he's ever looked. Like normally you can see they start to decline, or they start to get a tear, or the stomach starts to go, the waistline starts to go. And he looks as good as he's ever looked. So I like to see the guy still hanging in there, but still bringing it, He's still bringing the condition, the thickness. And funny enough, I've triggered a memory. I remember being at the 2016 Olympia, and I remember I had him like really neck and neck with Flex Lewis. I couldn't decide between the two of them. And he got, I think, 5th place. Yeah. 2019, he didn't make top 10. He got 11th. And I was like, I thought, why are they? Yeah, it was weird. I was like, am I missing something here? Because he looks fantastic, because he's got that. He's a legend in the 202, now the 212. Right. I really, really rate him. And I mean, he's just obviously scooping up the wins, isn't he? Because he wants to build some momentum for next year's Olympia. But I wonder why he's doing this after he's already qualified. Maybe he's just committed. Maybe he just wants the extra win, or what's the reason? Do you think?
Good question. I thought when he did the Legion last month that he just did the Masters and won that. Did he do the Open? Did he win the Open 212 as well?
Oh, I see. So that wouldn't qualify him for the following Olympia.
Right. But because I can't remember. I know Sean Clarita won the Open. I'm trying to remember who won 212. I don't think it was David. I think he just did, because they had a Masters component to it the day before. And because I looked up the score sheets and he wasn't on the 212. So I think he won the Masters. So maybe it was just warming up, and here he is back for an Olympia qualification. I'd love to see him back on the Olympia stage with a good placing.
But the thing is, he's a winner, so he's a lifetime qualified, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah, he did win the Olympias. It was called what? That's where it might get a little complicated, because it wasn't the Olympia back then. It was called the 202 Showdown.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that. But it was but that's still an Olympia win that qualifies you for life, surely.
Yeah, it was tricky. I mean, that was a weird cup. There was a good span of years where that was not, the 212 did not have an Olympia title affixed to the show that they had at the Olympia. It was just called a Showdown. And it was really bizarre. And I think even Bikini got to have Bikini Olympia before 212 got to have 212 Olympia. But so I'm not sure what the situation. Regardless, I don't see anybody beating him here. I'm sorry.
So he's here purely for the qualification, isn't he? I know it's always great to put a win on your CV, but he's really here purely to get the qualification for next year, so he can kind of trying to regain his kind of first foothold, because he was slipping, but for me he was looking as good as he's ever looked. Yeah. So
the Arnold, I can't remember who he took second at the Arnold 2 or 3 years ago, and it was so close. Yeah. I can't remember who he lost to. I can't even remember who beat him, but I thought he had it anyway. The other guy who is going to give him a little bit of a run at least, and maybe he's improved since the last time I saw him, Adolphus Coida, who I saw win this the last time I was in Toronto in 2019. He took 5th in at the same show in 2018. In 2020 was the last time I saw him. I think that's the last time he competed, and I could be wrong, but I think that was it. 2020 took 7th in the New York Pro in the 212. Very, very symmetrical, classic type of physique, and very tiny, tiny waist, tiny joints, the bicep peaks, the flaring quads, all that. Not a massive guy, but crazy shape. And I remember him being in really good condition because I remember he had beat Mahmoud Al-Dura. They just call him Dura. And it was very, very close. Two totally different types of physiques. Dura was so much thicker, but yeah, Adolphus has beautiful, beautiful shape and structure.
Yeah, I'm sure he's had a win last year. I'm sure I've got it in my head that he had a win last year.
He probably did.
Was it Chicago or no, it wasn't Chicago. He's had a win though. He definitely had a win. But I rate him. I think he's really, and he's big for a 212. He's very wide. Very wide. He's got some great back shots, very complete, great separation. So yeah, do you know what though? If Dave Henry's not at his best, Adolphus could definitely beat him. So it's not a done deal for Dave Henry by any means. So yeah, but I see that as the likely top two for this one.
Absolutely. So in women's bodybuilding, one name jumped out at me. She was a women's physique pro up to and including 2019. 2020, she switched over to women's physique. This is Mayla Ash. We're talking about Mayla Ash. 2020, she jumped into women's physique and won the New York Pro. She took 4th place at the Olympia that year.
Other way around. She went from women's physique to bodybuilding.
Oh yeah, you're right. What am I saying? You're right. She was women's physique and then she went to bodybuilding. What did I say? Bodybuilding, women's physique? Oh, boy, that's dyslexia at its finest. So yeah. And this year, just a couple weeks ago, she was 3rd place in Romania, which obviously that's a crazy lineup. That's, Tim Gardner and Jake Wood, the Wings of Strength. That's a big women's bodybuilding show. So it's comparable almost to the Olympia. So Mayla Ash, that's the name that really jumped out at me as far as probably going to win this, probably.
Well, she was 4th in Olympia last year in the Miss Olympia female bodybuilding. I saw her in Romania because I did the live stream commentary, if you remember.
Yep. And
yeah, she looked fantastic. There's something going on her legs. I think she's torn some quads or something, but the conditioning and upper body, that's amazing pop. I mean, I would say she's the odds-on favorite to win this one. So it was nice to finally meet her as well because she was staying at the same hotel. So I bumped into her at breakfast the other week in Bucharest.
Oh, right. Yeah, and she helped out with some interviews for MD one time when my flight was late and we were at the athletes meeting and she jumped in and helped us. So thank you, Mayla. That was
nice.
Hector roped her in. Hector's good like that. Get over here, do some interviews for us.
Yeah.
So last division I'm going to talk about, and then we'll touch on a couple others. Women's physique, and I see Ivy Rain, IVIRHEIN, as the probable winner here. She was 2nd place at the Legion Sports Fest a few weeks ago to another native Brazilian, Natalia Coelho. She was 7th place at the Olympia this year. She won the 2019 Portugal Pro, and the 2020 Tampa Pro. She's very, very good. I don't see anybody beating Ivy unless there's someone on that list that happens that I'm unfamiliar with that's just damn good, and I'm not aware of it. But that's my pick, Ivy Rain.
She's bloody awesome. Was she 4th at Olympia last year in the class in women's physique?
7th place at this past Olympia. I don't know what she did.
Do you know what she was the year before? I think she was like 4th or 5th the year before because she kind of came out of nowhere. She's like over 40. She's got like 2 kids, like grown-up kids. She's amazing. Trained in a garage last year during the pandemic.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. Prep for the Olympics. Took 4th. I think I've got 4th in my head. Got 4th at Olympia, and she basically did all her training in her garage. She lives in Florida. But she's bloody amazing. So, and she looked really, really good when she competed against Natalia the other week as well. Natalia didn't blow her off the stage by any means. So, so she's obviously here to try and get a win and get an early qualification for next year. So that's smart. This is very smart for Ivy to do this show. Yeah. Ivy.
Yeah. Next time I see her, I'm going to have to get a pronunciation on that. So, Ivy. It's probably short for something too, I bet.
I've had her on Global. She was a fantastic guest. She was lovely.
That's right. That's where she talked about the garage, and I think there was some footage of the garage training that you threw in there too.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So a couple divisions to mention real quickly. Figure. I didn't recognize any of the names on that list, but talk to me about what you know.
Well, competitor number 7, Teresa Linhartova, she just won in the Big Man weekend on the weekend in Spain, and she's the twins were 1st and 2nd. Gabrielle and Teresa Linhartova are twin sisters. I think they wore different bikinis.
Oh, good.
Good. I think, yeah, because they're both up. It was very confusing in Romania. I was like, hang on, I've just seen her on stage. And then I looked across and I was like, and I looked at the list and then I obviously twigged. And then someone says, no, they're twin sisters. They're twin sisters. But Teresa, I just saw on her Instagram, she's got 3 pro wins. I'm not sure if Spain is her 4th or that was her 3rd. Wow. But she's coming off a win. So she's obviously looking to get another win, you know. So she's traveling all the way from, you know, from there to Toronto to get another win. So, yeah, she was incredible. She looked incredible. And both of them looked incredible. Teresa's just slightly had the edge. If you look at the pictures, she's just like 2% better. But it's funny, like, you know, having twin sisters, 1 and 2. It was so funny seeing them on stage. It was incredible. And both so bloody good, you know?
So I wonder why the other sister's not coming to this one.
Yeah.
You'd think they would always, be like a gimmick, like we always compete together. Wouldn't that be funny?
Well, I actually checked because I wanted to make sure that this was the one that got 2nd or 1st. Because I thought, well, if the only one's turning up, is that the one that got 2nd? So she then wants her sister to go to Toronto. She's like, no, I'm going to go get 2 wins. Sort of.
Wait, I know the trick they could be trying to pull off.
Oh,
yeah. She could be pretending to be the other sister, but then after she wins, she's like, haha, it's actually me. She should,
pull off a mask. Oh no, it's me.
It's me, and she gets the Olympic qualification. That'd be hilarious. Linhartova sisters, if you're listening, I hope that's your plan because that would be awesome.
Maybe Teresa caught COVID and now she's sending her sister to compete for her to get a win in the qualification. I see what they've done.
I mean, who would know, right?
No, you wouldn't. I mean, the pass. I mean, yeah. How did they?
Show your passport. Yeah, that's you.
Yeah.
Last division I want to touch on because I don't think Ashley Kaltwasser is going to Toronto, is she? She's not on the list. Or is she?
She might be, yeah.
Oh my God, come on. I love Ashley, but come on, what's that 30? She got 32 wins now?
She's got 30 wins. She got 2nd in Spain on the weekend. And she like almost fasted for 2 days. She was so lean. I think that's why they gave her 2nd because the other girl's a little bit softer. But I mean, that was the leanest look I've ever seen her bring. But now she got back like literally a few hours ago. And she said at the end of her post on Instagram, she says, and I'm going to speak with my coach, Adam Benilla in Vegas, about maybe doing 1 more to end the season. Because I think maybe she wants to go out on another win. Because I think this will be her 16th show this year. And she's 1-8, and now she's just got 2nd. So maybe she wants to go out with a win. Maybe she saw the list and knows these girls and thought, I could just, because she's staying with her parents in Ohio, and it's only a 4-hour drive. So, I mean, she literally came off stage. We saw her at the airport yesterday morning because we went in separate cabs, and I saw her running for the gate. So she's obviously looking to. I don't know. I would put money that she does do this and then shuts it down, but tries to get her 9th win of the year.
Well, I mean, I think there's like 4 or 5 more pro shows with bikini in them.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of pro shows that are all they will have is the only pro divisions they have are like bikini and men's physique. There's a lot of shows like that. Yeah,
she's a maniac. Ron, she's a maniac. She'll probably do all of them.
Imagine that. Well, I'd like to see her sneak into this. Why not? Yeah. So you are not doing the web commentary for this one, I don't think, but I believe there will be a webcast. It's Toronto Pro Super Show. They're Pro Super Show on Instagram. I think the website is Toronto Pro Super Show for anyone who wants to figure it out. I'm sure if you do a Google search, it'll come right up. We'll put it in the link. We'll put it in the link to this just so people can find it. But I'm looking forward to it. I want to see one last showdown, and then we can shut this down for a couple months, rest up, and get Giles Thomas back over here for some shows in 2022. Please.
Oh man, do you know what? It was really nice to be in Romania and Spain because I missed the Olympia. I couldn't get to the Arnold. And it was so, you've got to be in, I like being in the thick of it, you know, and sort of seeing because we're all part of this community and we're all friends, you know, and it was just it's so nice to see her. So I haven't been to America since the Arnold Classic last March. So I miss you guys, you know, I want to get out there and do our thing and, you know, and have fun and then,
well, you know,
parties on Saturday, you know.
Thank you. Yes, and thanks for reminding me. But, you know, I love working with Milos. He's great at the wrap ups and stuff like that. I love working with Milos, but I missed having Giles. Not having you there, it's like it really did feel, especially at the Arnold and Olympia. I'm like, where's Giles? Where's Giles? And everyone's asking about you. Where's Giles? Like, he's back home. He can't get over here. So please let Giles get over here for the Arnold and Olympia at least. If not a couple more shows, but at least the Arnold Olympia for 2022.
I'm up for that, mate.
All right. Well, guys, that is it. That is our preview. So check out our coverage. I'll be doing a little bit of wrap-up thing on Sunday, I'm sure. Probably Milos or somebody to do it with me. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the videos, comment on the videos. Whether you love us or hate us, we'll take all comments, and subscribe. Get that little bell thing so you know when we're getting the notifications. Turn your notifications on. Blah blah blah. Do all that. We want you to watch our videos. It's kind of our thing. So Giles, thank you so much. I know you got to get back to. Are you still editing the next episode of Global right now?
Well, we haven't done it because I've had power cuts.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So I was going to plan one for tomorrow to release for Friday, but we keep power cut aside. So I don't want to book guests and then have to let them down. So what we'll do is we'll regroup. Buff Bombshell's going to be out on Thursday. We've got one recorded there. So as long as I can, I've got enough power to edit and upload. We're good to go on that. This will go out, and Global will likely be back next week. But I'd rather have a few more days just to breathe and really put a really kick-ass episode together. Because do you know what? I get really down when if I have a week where I don't do Global. It really makes me sad. So I've got to get back and.
It makes me sad when you don't have Global too.
Yeah.
Oh, no Global this week? Yeah, I mean it's a great show. I mean it's you do. I have to commend you. You showcase a lot of athletes that I never even think to contact. You know, I'm that ugly American that, to me, like there's America and then there's like the rest of the world. I'm not aware of so many great athletes. You've made me aware of so many people, so many competitors that I would never have known about. You know, eventually they start winning and doing better, but you get these people before they hit the quote unquote big time and start winning shows. So keep doing what you're doing, man. You thank God for Giles Thomas. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Can I quote you on that? Also, look what came.
The Nick Walker issue. Yeah.
Came. Yeah. So I got it, and but I saw Morgan Asp, but he was having pictures with people, and I thought I'll get him later because I wanted him to sign it and have a photo with his article. You know, his feature in here. But that was a great feature, guys. If you get a chance to pick up that issue, that is, you know, I don't often read a training article and think, oh, I wish I had written that. I read that and like, oh man, I wish I wrote that. That was great. Very, very comprehensive. Yeah, a lot of little cool nuggets in there. You know, I won't even get into it. I want people to buy the magazine to read it. So, but that's it. Thank you, Giles. Appreciate you taking the time again. I hope you get your power situation completely sorted out so we can get back on track with MD Global Muscle. We all love that show. And that's it for Giles Tiger Thomas, Ron Harris. This has been Muscular Development's preview of the Toronto Pro Super Show. We'll see you next time.